Hello and welcome to Female Cricket Live. The 19th match of the ICC Women's Cricket World Cup was played today between England and New Zealand, which England went on to win by just one wicket. Batting first, New Zealand were bowled out for 203 in 48.5 overs thanks to Kate Cross and Sophie Ecclestone, who picked up 3 wickets each. For New Zealand, it was Maddie Green who top scored with an unbeaten 52 to help her side go past the 200-run mark. In reply, England chased down the target in 47.2 overs to win the match by just one wicket. This was yet again a nail-biting thriller, and perhaps we can say that this ICC Women's Cricket World Cup is being characterized by the nail-biting thrillers. For England, it was Nat Siver who top scored with 61 and led the run chase from the front, while for New Zealand, it was the off-spinner Frances Mackay who was the pick of the bowlers as she picked up 4 for 34 in her 9 overs. Now, after this match, we can see that England have won 2 out of their 5 matches, while New Zealand have won just 2 out of their 6 matches and are virtually out of the semi final race. Now, ahead of us, we have yet another exciting contest. It is between West Indies and Pakistan. And to talk more about this match between West Indies and Pakistan, which will be played tomorrow, that is 21st of March, at Seton Park in Hamilton, I have with me Krisania Young, Dr. Anand Rampersad, and Dhanush Lavanya. So Krisania Young is a Caribbean cricket writer, cricket analyst, and chief editor at Mostly Cricket. Dr. Anand Rampersad is a columnist at Trinidad Guardian and has a specialization in sociology of sport. And Dhanush Lavanya is a content writer at Female Cricket. I welcome all of you to Female Cricket Live.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Dr. Anand, West Indies has, I think, developed a habit of giving those nail biting finishes to everybody in the world. Yet again, nail biting thriller against Bangladesh, managing to win the match by just 4 runs. Your thoughts on that match, and of course, West Indies' performance in that? Uh,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, the Great Escape. We were able to steal victory from the jaws of defeat after putting 140 on the 10 and then being able to defend it. Our bowlers and fielders came to the rescue of the team. The batters did not perform as they should have, but the bowling and the fielding ensured that the West Indies came away with the victory. I thought that the batters allow the Bangladesh spinners to get on top of them, and that aided in a lot of their downfall and the score. They were not rotating the strike as they should have. Even if they were not able to get the four balls, being able to pick up the ones that rotate the strike would have contributed. And I think Campbell innings really demonstrated what was required on that pitch. Her ability to rotate the strike and then later on, as the innings build some momentum, be able to pick up the odd boundaries here and there. And also the importance of striking partnerships at the back end with the lower order, with Fletcher, then Ramharak, um, contributed tremendously towards that score from being 72 for 7 to getting to 140. So I thought that the batting was not up to par. They would have failed that spin examination that Bangladesh would have put forward. And moving forward to the game against Pakistan, that is something that they will have to be able to rise to the occasion. Even if the pitch is somewhat offering assistance to the spinners, they have to find a way to adapt, ensure that they are able to rotate the strikes if they cannot get the four balls, and build a score if they bat first. And even if they are chasing, they have to approach it in the same way. So that's my overall thought. I call it the great escape. And I'm hoping that they do not have to go through this again in the game against Pakistan.
Honestly, we want to see another nail-biting thriller, but I'm sure that you, being West Indies fan, you don't want that to happen. All right. Krisania, though West Indies ended on a winning note, Shimane Campbell performed exceptionally well. AP Fletcher also picked up 3 wickets in that game, but we were disappointed to see Shamilia Connell, who unfortunately collapsed. Then she was taken to the hospital. Now we know that she has been discharged. But do you see Shamilia Connell taking the field against Pakistan?
Well, thank God she's okay. No, that's the most important thing. But from a cricketing perspective, it's a quick turnaround. It was Friday morning basically here. and then the game will be Sunday night. That's like less than 2 days. So I think it's a very difficult situation for the West Indies. They're in an unenviable position. I don't know which way I would go because their health is the most important thing and it is a quick turnaround. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
I think that could be a big blow for West Indies given that Shamilia Connell used to open the bowling and made good use of the new ball. So let us see what happens and let us hope that all is well with Shamilia Connell and we get to see her in the rest of the tournament. So Dhanush, moving on to you. West Indies, they are coming from a win, but Pakistan, they are coming from a loss, pretty unexpected, against Bangladesh by 9 runs. So Sidra Amin, despite scoring a wonderful century, Pakistan ended up on the losing side. So your thoughts on Pakistan's performance in that match and how can they improve more?
The match was very simple out there, Judy. The first two partnerships that Pakistan had, it was exceptional. They got a really good opening partnership between Sidra Amin and Nahida Akhtar. They got a very good 90-run partnership, if I'm not wrong. And then when Bisma Maroof came in at number three, they had another good partnership, 60-run partnership, and they were like 155 for two. And then another partnership with Omema Sohail around 30 runs, 183 for three. So with 9 overs left, they needed like 50 runs, and they had 7 wickets in hand. It should have been an easy run chase for them. Maybe if not, it should have been definitely a Pakistan win for sure, because at one end there was Sidra Amin who had stood there the whole match and played so beautifully. It was just the requirement of a support from the other end, from Nidadar or Ali Arias or these people. But unfortunately, that didn't happen, and that is the reason why the wickets completely fell off, and they were 215 for nine. And unfortunately, they had to lose the game by 8-9 runs out there against Bangladesh. It was really a heartbreaking loss for Pakistan. But the way Bangladesh defended it, the way Bangladesh played their hearts out, I feel that they gave everything out there, and Bangladesh has to be respected. Coming forward to tomorrow's game, it is in the same ground in Hamilton. With them not being so good against spinners, the Pakistan batters, I feel that the spinners of West Indies in Afi Fletcher, in Haley Mathews, and Ramarak, they have to make sure that the spinners get those early wickets so that Pakistan will be under pressure, because their bowling has been doing really good, but the batting is still not up to the mark.
So, as we were discussing about West Indies batting a few moments ago, Krisania, we saw Rashada Williams taking place instead of Kaisia Knight, but she did not perform much with the bat. So, do you expect West Indies to continue with Rashada Williams, or you think again they'll go back to Kaisia Knight, the left-handed batter?
I think Williams will get another opportunity. It was just the one chance. It was an unfortunate dismissal. I would say probably against her, going against what we've seen from Rashada. But it's just the one game, and Kaisia had 3 games before. So I think the West Indies. I'm sorry. I think the West Indies will be sticking with Rashada.
Right. And I think another change that West Indies made, Dr. Anand, it was, of course, of the leg spinner, Afi Fletcher. And we were talking in our conversations that when will this leg spinner get a chance? And finally, she got one. But Anisa Mohammed was not a part of the playing 11 for the last two matches. Do you say Afi Fletcher, Anisa Mohammed, and of course, Haley Mathews being the spin combination of West Indies tomorrow?
I think that the West Indies is in a good dilemma when it comes to choosing their spinners. And I would continue with the team that played against Bangladesh. I think Fletcher brings the leg spinning variation, with the leg spinning to complement the off spin of Mathews, Taylor, and I would stick with Ramharak because Ramharak has also the best economy rate in the tournament at this point in time. And so it's a dilemma. Either you go back to the experienced Mohammed or you go with Ramharak, who hasn't done anything wrong since she have got into the team. In fact, I think her partnership with Campbell also contributed to the West Indies getting that score up to 140. Her her fielding also will be something that is going to be a plus. She took two catches in the game in this as well. So I think it's a good dilemma, but I would continue with the spin attack that they have for the game against Bangladesh with the variation. You have Mathews and and Ramharak and Taylor with the off spin, with and Fletcher with the leg spin, and that will complement the seam attack of possibly Salman, Henry, and as well as Aliyah Ali and Deandra Dottin.
Of course, we cannot forget Deandra Doughton and her last over heroics, of course, against New Zealand in the first match. All right, so Dhanush, in the last match when West Indies played against Bangladesh, we could see that the West Indian batters were not that comfortable against the spin. They were not able to rotate the strike, not able to play their shots freely, as you usually see them playing against the seamers. Pakistan again being a spin heavy side thanks to Nashra Sandhu, Omema Sohail, and of course other spinners in their ranks, Neerader of course. Do you see Pakistan employing more of spin tomorrow against West Indies? Maybe even open the bowling with somebody like Neerader?
Yeah, definitely. I feel at the end of the day tomorrow it is going to be the team winning. The winning team will be the one who have played good against the spin, because we know both the sides haven't been good when it comes to playing spin. And absolutely, Pakistan, their whole strategy, bowling strategy especially, has been like two frontline fast bowlers in Diana Baig and Fatima Sana, and then there is four options when it comes to spinners and Nasha Sandhu. Gulam Fatima also came in the middle of the tournament, and she has been really good as well. Nidadar and the other name that I'm not getting right now. So in total, if I have to say, spin attack has been the mantra of Pakistan against every team that they have played so far. And knowing that West Indies being not so good against spin, and the history says this tournament they haven't played well against spin. So once again, they will follow the same rules. They will follow the same way. I don't see them opening the bowling with a spinner, but I will be surprised if someone like Anidadar opens the bowling as well. But seeing how Fatima Sana and Diana Baig have got a good start when it comes to in the power play overs with the ball, I feel they will be continuing the mindset will be the same as what I feel for Pakistan bowling.
Okay, so according to Dhanush, probably Pakistan could go ahead with the spin dominant attack that they have at present. So, Krisania, moving on to you, it is going to be the sixth match at the Seaton Park in Hamilton, and we expect the wicket to get slower and slower. We are not aware which strip is going to be used tomorrow, but probably it is assumed that the wicket will get slower and slower. And with Pakistan being spin dominant, and in the last match, West Indian batters not able to play the spinners as well as they do play the seamers, do you think that will be additional problems for West Indies tomorrow?
I'm sorry, Julie. The connection just cut out. Can you just rephrase the question for me, please?
Yes, no problem. Right, so I was just saying
Mhm.
that it is going to be the sixth match tomorrow that is going to be played at the Seaton Park in Hamilton. Wicket could get slower over the course of time. And of course, Pakistan being a spin dominant attack and West Indian batters having their own problems against spin. Do you think that will be more problematic for West Indian batters tomorrow?
But yes, it could be, but like, how much slower has the wicket gotten? I think is the big question, because we saw like two scores of 300 plus in the first four encounters there, in the first three encounters there, and now we're seeing like 240. So the spin might be a factor, but how big a factor? I think if you have spinners, however, in your ranks, you'd be quite foolish not to employ them against the West Indies. The West Indies, I think it would be what their problem will be going into this game, I think, would be finding the balance between trying to prevent a fourth consecutive batting collapse and then playing the actual conditions. So their mentality going into the game might do as much damage to them as the opposition spinners. But I think if the West Indies can get the balance right and just play the conditions itself, because what we saw against Pakistan was nine maidens, and then you had 19 additional overs with no more than two runs being scored. So I think their mentality going into the game, their mentality would be an advantage already to Pakistan if they can't adjust to going into the game with the mindset of playing the conditions itself. So I think once they balance that, they should be fine. But then the conscious effort of knowledge of making an effort to rotate the strike, I don't know. It will be very difficult for the West Indies, I think, because I think Pakistan, they're going to come with their spinners and they're fighting against their natural instinct. Do we go? Do we stay? So once they get the balance right, they should be all right.
Absolutely. I think there will be some pressure on West Indies, of course, given the fact that if they are able to win tomorrow against Pakistan, they will mostly seal their place in the semi-final position. So, Dr. Anand, West Indies, though they have won 3 out of their 5 matches, they already have 6 points in their kitty. But that net run rate is of concern because of the big losses to India and Australia. The net run rate is minus 0.93, which is just second worst compared to Pakistan, of course, who have the worst net run rate in this World Cup. So, do you expect West Indies to go out all guns blazing because they need a big win, big margin win over Pakistan? What will be the approach of West Indies tomorrow?
I think the net run rate will be playing on their mind, but I think the approach will be to win the game first. And as Christiania said, you want to make sure you adapt to the conditions. And if you bat first, you make the most out of the conditions. You get a good score on the board, 225 plus, and then take it from there to defend that total. If you are chasing, again, the run rate will be an issue. But again, you want to put emphasis on making sure that you win the game, and how you win it is going to be the question. If you are chasing 225, if you get a good start, you're able to rotate the strike, keep your wickets intact, and once as you settle in, then they may be able to up the strike rate later on in the inning. So it's all about planning. You want to take into consideration the run rate, but for now, I think getting the 2 points is going to be key, and then and leave it for the last game. If even if in the last game, at least you have the 8 points, and you know exactly what you need to do in terms of the run rate. So my approach would be, yes, it's something that you're going to be thinking about, but I think get the win first, and then we can see what happens in the final game against South Africa.
Of course, as Dr. Anand has mentioned, that win first and get those 2 important points before anything else, because if they have points on the board, net run rate will not matter that much. All right, so Dhanush, in contrary to West Indies, who will be under some pressure playing Pakistan, I'm sure they'll be playing fearless cricket tomorrow because they have nothing to lose. So, how do you think are the Pakistani girls going to approach the match against West Indies?
Yeah, when it comes to these situations where the chances of you going to the semifinals is very slim, it's better that you play your natural game. Don't think much, just go and enjoy yourself, is what many of the experts say. Even the coaches even say like that. But certainly, this Pakistan side is really a good, talented side, if I'm not wrong, because the bowling unit is really good. The spinners that we have been talking about are really impactful spinners. They have experienced fast bowlers in Diana Baig and Fatima Sana. Unfortunately, they haven't been at their best in this tournament, but they have the capacity when it comes to bowling. And in the batting, that has been the major issue for them. Unfortunately, this World Cup, the batting has been slow. Sometimes it's been lifeless. There is a lack of intent. And but if you see the talent in that batting unit, Sidra Amin, she got outstanding 100, and before that, she had a really good, promising starts in the other games as well. Nahida Khan, who has come into the side, she has adjusted herself to the opening role, and she has done pretty much well. And Bisma Maroof has done her part, but not so good. It's the other players also, Mema Sohail, Nidadar, Alia Riaz. Alia Riaz is someone that I was looking forward in this Pakistan side, because she was someone that was coming with consistency into this World Cup, but unfortunately, she hasn't had a good World Cup so far. So this Pakistan batting unit is definitely has talent. It's just that they have to go out there and play at their best, and just feel free and score runs, and don't have to hesitate while they're batting, which has been the case in the last 4 games, and that has been a reason why they have lost their matches, is what I feel. And in this situation right now, with them playing West Indies, then they will play other 2 games against England, and one more against New Zealand. They can be these spoil sport, the show spoilers in a way, because all these teams are in a situation right now where if they win, they are one step ahead going into the semifinals, and if they lose to a team like to Pakistan, it's going to impact a lot to them. So there is that kind of a feel as well. But on a whole, from their heart, they have to make sure that they play freely, and if they do that, I think they have a chance to win.
Yes. There's no doubt. I think there could be a good contest between West Indies and Pakistan. And if we look at the West Indies team, they are sitting pretty at number three position with 6 points. And probably one of the players whom we would like to give credit for this West Indies success is Haley Mathews. She has been the leading run getter for the team, leading wicket taker with 10 wickets. And of course, I think she has the most number of catches for the West Indian team. So, Krisania, how important is Haley Mathews going to be in the match against Pakistan and, of course, for the rest of the tournament?
Who, me? Is it me? Oh, I didn't hear. Well, we're saying she's matured. Haven't we, over the last, the summer in the Caribbean, it was July, was it? It was the same team, Pakistan. I think they've played each other 8 times over the last few months, and she's really come into her own. I think she was lacking confidence coming just before the pandemic, or is it just after the pandemic? But that tour to England, she was in all sorts of trouble. They tried to move her down the order, it didn't work. They moved her back up. Then when Courtney Walsh took over, she was down back. She moved back down to number five. Then she got her confidence. We see her opening in the in this tournament, and she's doing so well. But the confidence really came when she went down to number five and she was facing spinners, and it was slower. It wasn't as fast as it is opening the batting cricket down at number five. It's a bit mellow, I think, and that's where she got her confidence, and she was bowling well in the Caribbean. Then the West Indies went to South Africa. She was still bowling well. It's just the maturity. It's just the age. She's been in the team for such a long time. She's had her injury problems. She's had her ups and downs in form, and it's just time. I think at 24, I think she just turned 24 the other day. So much cricket. She's absorbed so much from the experience, likes of Taylor and Dutton. She's now a senior member, even at the tender age of 24. I think it's just the maturity, and she's enjoying her game. You can see she's a game changer. If it's not with the catches, it's with how she's bowling, it's with her batting, and one is just linked to the other. She scores runs, she feels good, she's holding on to the catches, she feels good, she's putting the ball into the right areas, and we're just lucky. The West Indies are really lucky to have him.
Okay. I think the other day against Bangladesh, I think she scored just 18 runs with the bat, but then with the ball, she had those 4 wickets, showing her value in the team. So, Dr. Anand, do you see Haley Mathews opening the bowling again versus Pakistan?
Yes, I think that they may continue with her opening the bowling in addition to the batting. What I would also like to add in terms of what Chrisania was saying, but another player who has been very impressive in this World Cup, the wicketkeeper Campbell. And as I said, in the game against Bangladesh, she played an important role in getting that score to 140. And if you look at her approach in the entire World Cup, she's not one of those who will blast the ball to the boundary. She's an accumulator. And I think there's a lot of lessons to be learned from her approach when playing the spinners and her timing when to attack. And I think if her role has been very, very much important, she has made a lot of contribution to the team. And I think the other batters can also learn from her in terms of how to build those innings in those trying conditions, especially with the turning ball or the slower pitches. And it complements the hitters in Dutting, in Mathews, and it also relieves the pressure from our captain. And so far, Taylor hasn't really come to the party other than against England. So I think that the role that Campbell has played, as well as Nation, but Campbell has been really consistent in that number five position.
Okay, I think that Campbell's inning of 53 not out helped West Indies to post a respectable score of 140, because otherwise, probably they were ending up at somewhere around 85 or 90 if Campbell
Yes.
wouldn't have played that exceptional knock of 53. So, Dhanush, we are just few hours away from the West Indies Pakistan match. If we look at the Eden Park Hamilton, 5 matches have been played so far. Teams batting first have won four, team batting second has won once. So, what do you think the captain winning the toss tomorrow will opt to do?
I feel that it is going to be the same thing continuing in tomorrow's game as well. It's been like a mantra for while winning the toss, win the toss and bat first. Only a few games that we have seen winning the toss, the team has chosen to bowl like how England bowled today. But on a whole, if we have to say, with the conditions in Hamilton being a batter friendly wicket. Yeah, definitely being the sixth match, the wicket won't be as good as it was in the first game, but definitely it would be a very good opportunity for the team batting first. And especially I feel with West Indies being having a lot of stakes in this game tomorrow, they will be making sure to bat first if they win the toss, because they, if you see the whole tournament till now, the West Indies batting, the first match batting that they had against New Zealand is the perfect batting that they had in this tournament when it comes to comparing the other performances. If they are able to replicate the same performance that they showed against New Zealand in the first game, I feel that they can put up a very good score of 250, 270 on the board. And with Pakistan batting unit not so confident with themselves, but still they will also try to play fearless cricket is what we can expect. So with the stakes being in the West Indies side, I feel that they will be looking forward to bat first and put some score on the board, and they have the bowlers in their side to defend it. In Pakistan's favor, I can just say that go play your fearless cricket irrespective of you're batting first or batting second, because there is nothing to lose at the end of the day for them.
Krisania, any close matchups that you're looking at?
Well, it would be the spinners again. I think how Taylor got out in the last game was unfortunate because she's a monster against spin bowling. So I was very confident when she came in, even though the West Indies had just lost. What was it? Two quick wickets. So I think I would go Stefani again against the spinners. I think that's what she's there at the number four, in the number four position to do, just to take on the spinners or at least to see them out. She's not really come to the party, as Doc said, apart from the one innings, but we're hoping that this will be the one and that everyone else will be able to bat around her.
Right. So Krisania says Stephanie Taylor versus the Pakistani spinners could be the matchup. Dr. Anand, do you have any different matchup in mind?
I'm actually looking forward to Fatima Sana versus the stroke players in the West Indies team. Sana versus Dotting Mathews. I'm looking forward to that. I like her. She's very exciting. She's very pumped player, self confident, and I like what she brings to the game and her battles with the West Indies stroke players. I think that I'm looking forward to. So I'm hoping she opens the bowling with Big, and I look forward to the battles between her and Dotting and Mathews. It should be interesting because they will play their strokes, and I think she's gonna go try to get them out, and that makes exciting cricket.
Absolutely. So Dhanush, any matchup that you are looking at?
Yeah, definitely. To add on to Dr. Anand's words, yeah, the opening partnership is what basically it is. The mandatory, the first 10 overs would be exciting to watch. Fatima Sana has been not so good to her standards because she has a really high bar when it comes to performance. She's still 20, 21 years old, and she has years ahead. She will become a way better bowler as the years go by. And definitely seeing how Haley Mathews has been this whole tournament, she has been that big name in that West Indian side. The first name you talk about when you talk about West Indies in this World Cup is Haley Mathews, and Deandra Doughton being the character that she is, and seeing how the West Indian openers are when it comes to being aggressive against the fast bowlers in the first 10 overs. We saw them score 100 runs against India and all. So I feel that tomorrow that can happen once again, and that is one matchup that I will be looking forward. And also one more thing is the complete West Indian batting unit against the Pakistan bowling spin department, because if the if the West Indian team has to win this game and put up a good score on the board, they have to make sure that they play well against the spinners in the match.
Absolutely. So, very nice matchups that all three of you have pointed out, and let us hope that these matchups we get to see in the match again between West Indies and Pakistan. All right. So, before we close, your quick predictions, Krisania, who do you think will win?
I have no idea. I'm going to tune in to see.
At
But we
least
do
tell us.
have the West Indies. The West
At,
Indies, they will have a good opportunity. Pakistan, what are they? Four, no, nil from four. The West Indies will take confidence from their bowling performance, but I think they'll also be very determined. to not
Yes.
let what happened with the Batten in the three previous games happen again. If
Hmm.
nothing else motivates them, the challenge will be there. We want to bat well this time around. We want to post a big total this time around. Or if they get to chase, we want to chase this down.
Yes.
I don't know who will win. I'm going to tune in just like everyone else.
I know what is your answer, but it is okay. No problem. We will just see what happens tomorrow. Dr. Anand, your predictions, and if
Uh,
you can tell us if it is going to be a nail-biting finish or a usual game.
Well, both teams have played each other 8 times over the last couple months, and the
Yes.
West Indies have won 6 out of those 8. So I think that that experience of having played Pakistan
Hmm.
recently, I think they're going to use that. The unknown factor that Bangladesh would have brought. I think the game against Pakistan, the West Indian batters would have faced
Hmm.
the Pakistan bowlers before. So I think that can help a lot. And I I don't think it will be a nail biter. I'm hoping it's not a nail biter. I am gonna back the West Indies to win, and if they bat first, a score of 225 plus,
Hmm.
and I think it will be enough to win the game. So I'm gonna openly say that I'm supporting backing the West Indies to win, based on past experience and also what has been happening in the tournament.
Though Dr. Anand does not want to see a nail biter, we want to see, as Indian fans, a nail biting finish because we love the West Indian team and their nail biting thrillers that they have seen. And I think we have already seen 8 matches that have gone all the way to the last over. So let us hope we get to see a ninth one between West Indies and Pakistan. So Dhanush, your final predictions. Who's going to win tomorrow?
Yeah, in one sentence, if I have to say on paper, based on the situation, it's West Indies who deserve to win. But if Pakistan manages to win, it will be a show spoiler, and that is going to be really hard for the West Indian fans out there, especially Krisania and Dr. Anand to take. But on a serious note, West Indies must win because they have been an exciting team to watch in this World Cup so far, and they deserve to go into the semifinals.
Absolutely can't agree more with you, Dhanush, on this. That West Indian team has been an exciting team to watch. The colorful Caribbeans, as I would like to call them, and let us hope that they give us some more entertainment in the match when they play Pakistan at the Sedan Park in Hamilton tomorrow. That is 21st of March. All right. So thank you, Krisania, Dr. Anand, and Dhanush for talking to us about this West Indies Pakistan match that we are going to see on March 21. The match will be played at the Sedan Park in Hamilton, and it will start at 6:30 a.m. Indian Standard Time. So all the fans can catch the live action on Star Sports and Disney Plus Hotstar. And we'll be back again tomorrow at 8 p.m. to preview 2 matches, one between Australia, South Africa, and the other between India and Bangladesh. So do join us for our conversation tomorrow at 8 p.m. and send us your questions using hashtag Female Cricket Live. Thank you.
Bye.